Welcome, everyone. We are live here in Albert Lee. We're just uh, finishing up with the warm ups. We got some announcements that are being broadcast. So we're just finished up with warm ups. We're getting ready for the starting lineups. Starting for the Scarlets, Adam Lobit starting in goal. Isaac Allman, Noah Wursel starting as well. Oliver DeMars getting a start. Christian Salsley starting. Jacoby Tosh as well. Weston Caperoon. Tanner Dumdye. Javier Gonzalez getting a start. Brody Cox. Mateo Engelhorn. Ethan Brownlee starting in goal. And Giandavi. Bermudez Estrada. And number 4, Eli Scrogheim. Mutu. Muso. Oh, I didn't. Oh, it's H2OO. Pronounced so. And Henry Westrom for Albert Lee. Jonathan Hartman. Ian Vasquez. Titus Hartman. Seth Chol. Andy DeBow. Isaiah Palomo. Oh, Lee Gansky down here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to go. Looks like Harrison Velasquez is going to be out tonight. He was struggling with his hip at the last game. You could tell when he was running, he was a little bit off his normal pace. So I think Harry's going to rest tonight. And so we'll see Mateo in there for where Harry normally is, as well as Sebastian Homer. So I would anticipate we'll see Brody in the middle on D for tonight's game. So I'll give you a heads up where we're at in the season. We're coming towards the end. Yeah, next week. Let me give you a quick rundown of where we're at while we wait for the start. I know we've got Tuesday, Thursday games next week. Let me pull that up. Looks like they're getting ready to go. So we'll get the clock ready here. We're going to have Owatonna on Tuesday, and then on Thursday we're in Winona, and I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't anticipate that I'm going to be able to make that Winona trip. So the Winona typically they do a broadcast, and so there's a good chance that you can view that broadcast. I'll see if I can get Gavin Mason to send a link out in the weekly update on where you can view that. Winona typically, historically, I would say Winona does not let me broadcast in Winona because they have a CCTV. I know they don't let me do the hockey game, so I'm anticipating that I'm not going to be allowed to broadcast that one anyway. So I'll let you know more when I find out more. But we will be at home versus Owatonna on Tuesday. And then that following week, we go St. Peter, Northfield, and Faribault in Faribault to finish out the regular season. And then from there, we go into the postseason play. So let me zoom this in for you a little bit so you can see a little bit better what's going on the field. It's like Albert Lee coming down into the scarlet end. And Tanner hit that off of an Albert Lee player and gets the throw. He's going to try to feed it into Oliver. Oliver looks like he might have got his funny bone on that. Comes up shaking his arm. Albert Lee trying to find a through ball. He was off. Yep. So the AR is going to throw the flag up on that. He was close, but clearly he was off by a bit. So Scarlett's got a free kick. Looks like I think that's Allman wearing the gloves. It is about 68 degrees. A light mist coming down. Not much of a wind. And I found myself in a nice cozy little press box for the game today, which is nice. This is a really nice facility here. Kind of wish we had something like this in Mankato, to be honest. And DeMar's trying to get to it. Albert Lee's just going to kick that out of play, and we'll get a scarlet throw. I would imagine Dumdai with a nice throw. Gets it in. Trying to find Tosh. Lets it go by. It's going to go back to Allman. Allman looking for an outlet. Finds Borsel and blocked by an Albert Lee defenseman. Goes back to Tosh. Tosh along the lines. Gets around one. And he's going to cross it in. Goalie's there. Kicks it. And DeMars overran it. Rebound came off of the goalie's knees, and Albert Lee just plays it out of bounds. And now Salsley plays it back to Dumdai. Dumdai back to Caproon. Over to Engelhorn. Engelhorn up to Allman. A hot pass. Allman has to race for it and winds up losing possession, and nice hustle by Salzy to pick that back up. No, that's not Salzy. That was Gonzalez. Now Allman feeds it back. I think he was trying to find Salzy, and Salzy was playing back a little bit, and Albert Lee is able to pick it up and trying to feed it up to their forward, trying to get around Cox, and Brody's like, not today, folks, not today. And so Brody kicks that out. So we're going to get an Albert Lee throw. And forward leaves it for the midfielder. Looks like they're getting ready for maybe a big throw. He's got a bit of a approach. And blasts it right over to Lobitz. Lobitz picks that up. He's going to throw it, trying to get it to DeMars. And Albert Lee is just going to head that out of play. And Dumdai with the throw now. And feeds it up, trying to find Salsley, and Albert Lee back line is going to pick that up. Now at midfield, Dumdai with good pressure allows Salsley to step in and grab the ball, and then Albert Lee disrupts. And now the goalie with it. DeMar's trying to get in front of him. Salsley gets a head on it, and then Albert Lee is just going to blast this up in the air and out of bounds. Dumdai to Gonzalez. Javier looking for, nice little dish to Dumdai. Dumdai with an overlap from Gonzalez and feeds it to Tosh instead. Tosh over to Allman. Allman at about the 25, looking to get turned. Feeds it through just a little. Actually, Wursel got to it. It went off an Albert Lee player and stayed in bounds. And then that's going to go down the line. And Caperoon, no, that's not Caperoon. That's Engelhorn. Engelhorn over to Caperoon now. Caperoon's going to play it up to Gonzalez. Gonzalez with a touch and feeds it back to the other side for Engelhorn. Engelhorn now to Allman. He's got space to turn. Going to feed it over to Caperoon. Actually, no, to Gonzalez. Javier with space. Feeds it. Salsley gets turned. A nice little nutmeg over to Tosh. Feeds it to Wursel. And Wursel trying to find Allman coming through. Big touch by Allman. And Albert Lee just blasts it into midfield. Good header by Cox. And now Wursel trying to get turned. Feeds it to Tosh. Tosh with it now. Back to Cox in the middle. He's got pressure. Feeds it to Salsley. Salsley with a blaster right to the goalie. From about 30 out, I'd say. And a lot of pushing there. Caperoon trying to get under it. And Albert Lee is going to head it out of play. Lee Gansky, the AR there, closest to us. He gives the signal that it's a scarlet throw. Now Cox feeds it through to Dumdai. Tanner with a trying to get around two. Couldn't. But Caperoon was there to recover. Now Gonzalez. Too big of a touch. It's going to go to Albert Lee's back line. Trying to feed it through was Dumdai. A little too big of a hit. Tosh trying to find it. And they're just going to shield and let that go out of play. So Albert Lee with a throw down the line. Dumdai with it. Feeds it over to Allman. Allman's got space. Feeds it to Wursel looking for the through ball. Wursel couldn't get it there. Allman has to retreat back. Well, Engelhorn over to Dumdai. Tanner gets turned through one, through another, and Albert Lee says no. Hustles back and disrupts, and then Salsley lost a step, but then recovers and gets it to Allman. Allman to Salsley, a little 1-2 pass. Allman reverses back, feeds it to Wursel. Wursel with a through ball. He's got DeMars, and DeMars stopped on it. Not sure why. Maybe he thought that was out of his reach. So we're going to go kick. Oh, Cox. Albert Lee trying to get turned. Tried to feed it over, and Gonzalez comes back and disrupts, feeds it to Salsley. Salsley turns it out to Wursel. Wursel up to Tosh. It's got Wursel on the run down the line. He plays it back to Engelhorn. Engelhorn's going to find Salsley in the middle. Finds Allman. Allman gets turned. 14 giving chase. And Allman trying to find Tosh on a break. And Tosh was wide. It stays in. Albert Lee trying to get it turned. That's going to go down the line. And Allman's going to let that go out for a throw. And we got substitution coming in. Looks like Engelhorn's going to go out. And I can't see. I should get my binoculars. I can't see who that is. I'm a ways away from the field. So I'm going to find my binoculars here. I think it's probably Homer, but I can't. Yeah, it's Sebastian Homer. So Homer in for Engelhorn. Now Gonzalez given pressure. That's going to go out of play. And it's going to be an Albert Lee throw. Oh yeah, that's good. Looks like it's gonna be a free. I was on my binocular, so I have no idea what just happened. But it looks like it's gonna be a free kick. And Dumdai trying to catch the goalie unprepared, and goalie just grabs that and puts that up. Oh, that was a handball. Capron got away with that one because that literally went off his arm. So we got an Albert Lee throw. Got 14 breaking in the middle. Picks the ball up. Allman trying to put pressure. Gets around him. Gets around Cox. Takes a shot. Gosh darn it. Sorry. Forgot to move the camera. Lobitz had to make a save. Rebound came out. Albert Lee picked up the rebound, and Lobitz had to make a second save. Two good saves by Lobitz. Big throw by Albert Lee. He's just behind the D line. And Cox has to rush over. Picks it up. Got a little too fancy, and Albert Lee kicks that out of bounds. It'll be a scarlet throw. Looks like Wursel with it. Going to throw it over to Cox. Brody trying to clear it to Tosh. That goes to Salsley. Salsley trying to get around number 4. Slows things up. DeMars offside. Can't play the ball. Now Gonzalez with it. And Albert Lee's back line throws it. That's going to be a scarlet throw. Dumdai will come in for the throw. And headed by Albert Lee. DeMars with a volley that goes wide left and out of play for a Tiger throw in. And then we got 2 substitutions coming. It looks like Abdi and let me see if I can see. It looks like Anderson. Yeah, Abdi and Jackson Anderson. And now Homer lets that go out of play. It's going to be a scarlet throw. Gets it over the Albert Lee player. The back line picks it up. Allman plays it back to Cox. Cox quickly plays it back to Allman. Allman trying to find space. Over to Dumdai. Dumdai's got pressure and feeds it up to Tosh. A little hot on the pass, and Jacoby having a hard time keeping it close. And Albert Lee is able to step up and turn it over. That Albert Lee player is on side. He was close, but he was on, looking for a shot, and Lobitz with a diving save makes the save. Allman feeds it to Salsley. Salsley up to DeMars. DeMars with a touch pass behind Dumdie. Dumdie throws it over to Homer. Homer up to Tosh. Tosh looking for an outlet. Finds DeMars. DeMars over to somebody. Dumdie picks it up. Dumdie trying to get around one. Feeds it to Gonzalez. Gonzalez feeds it back to Dumdie. Shot off the side of Dumdie's foot. I think maybe he was trying to find Abdi, but he had a clear angle. I think maybe that went off his foot funny. So Albert Lee with a substitution now. And the throw coming into play. Allman with it. Feeds it up to DeMars. DeMars trying to get turned. He's got two guys on him. And that shot goes on net. Anderson putting pressure. Cleared to center field. Albert Lee's going to get on it. Cox picks it up. And nice little feed. I think Tosh trying to do a give and go to Dumdie breaking over, and Albert Lee was there to get it. Now Salsley throws it into Dumdie. Dumdie with a quick turn goes over Albert Lee. DeMars steps in front of it. DeMars from 20 out goes right to the goalie. We're gonna test this goalie. That's a handball. He's gonna let him go. And good job by Cameron to get in front of that. Now Homer trying to get to it. Salsley comes back and picks it up. Salsley puts the brakes on and then steps around, gets around another one, and it goes out of bounds. Albert Lee with a throw goes to Caperoon. Caperoon gets it up. DeMars gets to it as two Albert Lee players fanned on it. And DeMars gets it to Salsley, and pressure from behind. Salsley didn't see him coming. And then Anderson gets to it. It's going to allow Dumdie to pick up the ball. Now Dumdie trying to find Abdi. Couldn't get it over Albert Lee, but Allman's there to get the deflection, and Allman puts it through the uprights and out of play for a goal kick. Oh, goodness. Oh. My legs just fell asleep. I'm up in the press box, but they have this gigantic countertop that I gotta. It's kind of an awkward position, so my legs are gonna tend to fall asleep as we go through this broadcast. Dumdie getting a foot on it, but then Albert Lee is able to step in front of it, and Lobitz comes out for it, and Caperoon takes a tumble. I don't know if they tangled up legs or if he just lost his footing. And ball goes uncontested. And DeMars gets a foot on it, and then Dumdie steps past it. And Allman picks it up at midfield, looking for a through ball. Finds DeMars. DeMars trying to get it turned and puts it through the uprights. I think wide of the uprights and off of the building into the bushes. So we'll get a goal kick here. It's going to go to center field, and Cox puts it back in the Albert Lee end, and that's going to go through the back line for another. They're going to, I think, is he saying a corner? Yeah, he's going to say it's a corner. It must have gone off the Albert Lee defenseman. Looked like he was letting that go, but he must have got a foot on it. So we'll get an Albert Lee corner kick. Oh, and Tosh jumps up for it and misses it, goes all the way to the other end, and Albert Lee is just going to blast it, and that's going to actually go out of bounds. So it'll be a Scarlet throw in. We have substitution. Looks like Wursel coming back in. DeMars tried to get a foot on it. That goes to Albert Lee. Down the line, Albert Lee trying to keep it in. And good defensive back play by Allman to break up the play. It's fed up to Wursel. Wursel with it at midfield, looking for an outlet. He's got Abdi making a break. Feeds it over to Abdi. And then Abdi threw a little too much juice on that, and that's going to allow the goalkeeper to get over there and pick it up. And I think that was Homer got a piece of that. Allowed DeMars or Dumdye to pick that up. Now Wursel with it. Wursel feeds it over to Anderson on the near side. Back to Wursel. Back to Caperoon. Caperoon feeds it to Anderson. Anderson gets it to Tosh and out of Albert Lee. And nice little throw by Anderson. Tosh controls, gets it to Allman. Allman from 20 out. It's going to go right to the goalie, but Abdi was there for the rebound, and the goalie was just quick enough to grab his rebound. You can see the reason why you'd want to make sure that you crash that net with every shot, just in case there is a rebound like that one there. That's an easy tap in if you can be in the right spot at the right time. Good job by Caperoon there. Allows Wursel to make a break up. Feeds it over to Tosh right in the middle. Tosh with a shot trying to find Wursel breaking, and Albert Lee picks it up. Now DeMar's putting pressure, and that's going to come way out of bounds up into the bleachers, and it'll be a Scarlet throw. Anderson with a throw to DeMars. DeMars gets it turned. He's going to go to the corner, puts the brakes on. Albert Lee is there and pokes it out, and we'll get another Scarlet throw. DeMars to Anderson. Anderson back to DeMars. DeMars tries to put it back in the center, and Albert Lee just blasts it out of bounds, so we'll get another throw. He's got Allman right there in the middle if DeMars can find him. Good hustle by Dumdye to get in there. And then Anderson puts it in. Goalie's there to pick it up. Rolls it out to center for number 14. 14's got space to turn. Scarlets putting pressure. Dumdye there. Break up some passing lanes. Allows Homer to get it. Is going to feed it out for Wursel. Wursel to Tosh. Tosh has got DeMars breaking. Leaves it out wide for Abdi. Abdi puts the brakes on. Back to Dumdye, and then over in the center for Allman. Allman trying to get through. Throws a hip. He's going to get called for contact. So it'll be a free kick for the Tigers. And feeds it up high. And Cox is there to head it out of bounds. It'll be a Tiger throw. Got substitutions coming in. Looks like DeMars coming out. And Hagen coming in, as well as Quayon. Townsend coming in for Anderson. A little miscommunication there between Townsend and Caperoon. Caperoon is going to kick that one out of play. Let the defense reset. And 14 breaking on the ball. Allman there to head it to Townsend. Comes bounce is favorable for Albert Lee. Albert Lee gets a head on it. And it allows Lobitz to pick it up. Lobit's looking for an outlet. He's going to roll it over to Caparoon on this near side. And Wursel gets turned, feeds it up to Tosh in the middle. Tosh looking for an outlet, feeds it out to Dumdai on the far side. Dumdai trying to get around one. He does. Looking for something and goes funny off his foot, feeds it over to Abdi. Abdi looking for a cross ball, finds Townsend, but it was a little hot. And good touch by Caparoon, but Albert Lee is there to get the deflection. Oh, nice move by Townsend. And that's a handball on Hagen, so it'll come the other way. And that ball comes through and blasted out of play. I think that was, is that Abdi way back there? And that shot goes wide off frame to the right of the net for a goal kick. And then coming back in, I think that is Gonzalez, maybe? Yeah, Javier coming back in. So it looks like Javier's going to play the right side. And that goal kick's going to go to Quayon Townsend. Nice touch by Townsend. Oh, and a turnover there. Albert Lee looking for a through ball. And Javier all over his man. Doesn't allow the pass to get through. Now Gonzalez throws the ball forward. Tosh off to the races, and Albert Lee's just going to hit that out of bounds. So we'll get a throw in. Looks like Gonzalez is going to take it. He's got Allman back. Allman looking for the ball. It's going to go to Wursel. Wursel gets it over to the goalie. The goalie picks that up. And thrown to the corner, the sideline. Headed to the center. Dumdai with pressure. Townsend coming back. And Dumdai is able to clear up to Tosh. Tosh feeds it out to Gonzalez. He's got Wursel. He doesn't have much for passing lane, so he feeds it to Dumdai. Dumdai over to Townsend. Townsend through, trying to find Hagen. Hagen gets it out to Townsend and deflected by Albert Lee. Now Dumdai off the mark for Hagen. Allman trying to get in front of it. Number 4 is able to clear. Now Homer with it. Homer trying to get turned, lost his footing, but kept the ball in play. Can't get around the Albert Lee player. And that's going to go off of Gonzalez and out of play. So Albert Lee throwing. We got no score. We're down to about 13-15 first half. Advantage Mankato. But the shots are pretty far out. I don't think we've seen very many shots inside the 18 yet today. But some good looks, some good angles. We just need to try to capitalize on maybe some passes inside the 18. Tosh trying to get turned. He's got an overlap. Gonzalez was trying to overlap. A Homer tried to feed it up and it goes off Albert Lee. They're coming back. It was 3-on-2, and then Allman takes him down from behind. Allman's got to be careful. He's going to get a card. And this is a dangerous spot to have a free kick. Right about, I'd say 25 out. Maybe 28. So we'll see what Albert Lee can do on this. See if we can defend. Boys are sitting about 16, 15 yards out from Lobitz. Lobitz lining up the wall. He's got a 2-man wall. Now he's got a 3-man wall. Hagen and Tosh sitting high. Hagen decides to come in and mark up. And that kick goes off of the wall. So a good wall, effective wall on that free kick. And someone's getting, nope, they're gonna, he wants to stop time. He's gonna give somebody a yellow. Yellow card on Albert Lee's number, I can't see the number. Number 13, which is Ian Vasquez. First yellow card of the game. I'll give you a little wide angle on this free kick so you can see a little bit better where we're going with this. To the back line and deflected out of danger by Albert Lee and then repossessed by the Scarlets. Switched fields all the way to Cameroon on this side. Cameroon feeds it to Wursel. Wursel's got space to turn and use the referee for a shield and allows Albert Lee to get the ball into the Scarlet end. Cameroon going after it with a big shove by Cameroon. AR, I think he was calling for a foul. Yeah. Gansky wants the foul instead of the throw in. It's a good call. Cameroon with a pretty good shove right in front of Gansky. So the AR is going to call that one. So free kick here for the Tigers. And that one is up and deflected wide by one of the Scarlets. I couldn't see which one it was. Now, Townsend trying to get turned, gets around one, not the other, and then that's going to go out. They're going to call, Gansky's going to call a Scarlet throw. Pass by Cameroon to Townsend. Townsend down the line to Hagen. Hagen to Tosh. Tosh feeds it over to Ullman in the middle. Ullman's got a lot of space. He's going to dish it up, trying to find. He probably should have taken his space on that. He had plenty of time and plenty of space, but he's trying to feed it through. That's a long pass. It's hard to get through because the defenseman has time to act on a pass and intercept it, which is what happened there. Now Wursel over to Tosh. Tosh wide for Townsend. Townsend through bodies to Hagen. Hagen to Ullman. Ullman gets around one, looking for an angle to shoot and is tied up, and they're going to call a shove from Ullman, and that's the third foul on Ullman. Ullman's got to be careful. He's going to wind up with a card. Cox with a good header. Now Wursel to Ullman. Ullman to Tosh. Tosh feeds it through to Gonzalez. Gonzalez got a foot on it. Oh, and it goes just wide off deflection. Gosh. So we got ourselves a corner kick now. And looks like we've got Salsley coming back in. I think for Wursel. Dumdai. Dumdai puts it in the box and ping pongs around and cleared by Albert Lee. Ullman gets a foot on it. Wide. A little hot. Trying to find Dumdai on the line. And it goes out of bounds for an Albert Lee throw. Albert Lee car driving by using an air horn out the window to disrupt and distract. Doesn't seem to be doing much for Townsend as Townsend feeds it through and nobody breaking on the ball allows the goalie to step up and pick it up. Now, big kick by the Albert Lee goaltender. Gotta talk, boys. You gotta talk. That's how someone gets hurt because Cox went in with a foot and Um, Cameroon came in with a head. It's a good way to get kicked in the head. And Albert Lee is able to turn. Dumdai feeds it over to Allman. Allman trying to feed it through to Hagen. Hagen got a piece of it, and it's going to go back to the goalie. Well, Gonzalez got in front of that. It's going to go out of bounds. That'll be a Tiger throw. Looks like DeMar's coming back in to replace Hagen. Now, Quayon trying to get around their defenseman, and good defensive play to break that up. Did not allow Quayon through. Albert Lee coming the other way, and Salsley hustles back to disrupt enough that it allowed Cox to get in front of the pass, looking for a through ball. And Allman, miscue. Another miscue. And that ball is going to go to Gonzalez. Javier down the line looking for a through ball. I think he was trying to find DeMars, and Tosh got in front of it. So it goes back to Salsley. Salsley's going to feed it to Allman. Allman to Tosh. Allman breaking. Tosh trying to get around a man. Feeds it out to Gonzalez. And then Townsend with a blaster. Oh, looks like he didn't get all of it, and it's going to get deflected and go wide. I think that's going to be a corner because Townsend got a good foot on it, and it must have been deflected because it didn't have much juice on it by the time it crossed the end line. So we'll get Dumdai over here on the near side. And headed up over the net and out of play. Should be a goal kick. Nope. It's going to be a corner on the other side. And I think that's Allman. Yeah, that's Isaac taking this one. And in the box, Townsend trying to get on it. DeMars on the backside, blasted with a left foot, deflected and then kicked out of play by Albert Lee. So it'll be a throw in for the Scarlets. Down to about 4:15 first half. We're still scoreless here in Albert Lee. And that'll be a goal kick. No, corner. Sorry. I thought it went off of a Scarlet, but it's going to be a corner kick. Looks like Allman's going to take this one again. Low. Shooter. Oh my gosh, and Albert Lee's able to clear. I thought that was going in. Oh, goodness. Right off of, I think that went off of Townsend's face. It's either his face or his chest. Those hurt, especially when the ball's wet. Townsend shakes it off, gets ready to play again. Good step by Engelhorn. Now, Salsley and Allman standing next to each other. Cox over to Engelhorn. Engelhorn back to Cox, trying to spread the field out. Over to Caperoon. Caperoon, he's got Quayon. Finds him. Townsend looking for an angle. Feeds it through to Tosh, just outside of Tosh's reach, and it's going to allow Albert Lee to take that down the line. And going to say offside, maybe? Yeah, I think he called that offside. So it'll be a free kick for the Scarlets. Cameroon taking it. Headed out from Albert Lee, but Salzy's there to pick up the deflection. And puts brakes on, looking for an outlet. Finds Tosh through traffic. Tosh couldn't maintain possession and allows Albert Lee down the line, and he's off to the races. That was all ball. It was all ball, but they're gonna call Allman on a shoulder. I didn't see anything there, but referee is gonna call that a free kick for Albert Lee. Good hustle by Allman to get there right before he pulled the trigger on that shot. So, it's right on the edge of a dangerous spot, but I think should be manageable. I shouldn't even put that out there in the universe. And that's going to go right to Lobitz. Lobitz couldn't pick it up, and that's going to go down as a foul against Salsley. And Dumdai clears it up to midfield for Allman. Allman's got space, feeds it through. DeMars trying to get to it. And DeMars gets there before it goes out of play, plays it back, and Gonzalez trying to get around it. And looks like Tosh goes down. Looks like there was a shove, no call. So Albert Lee is going to play that in. About 25 seconds left in the half. Still scoreless. Scarlets need to get one before the half. Would be really nice for them, but not seeing that happen in the next 15 seconds. So that'll take us to the half. Scoreless here in Albert Lee. We'll get a 10-minute halftime intermission. If you want to go grab a snack, grab a drink, let your dogs out, feed your goldfish, whatever you need to do. We'll see you back here in 10 minutes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Getting ready to start the second half. Looks like Scarlet's going to have the ball first. Jamar's at center. Tosh with him. Looks like Anderson on the outside, on this near side. Oops, wrong one. Sorry. And Gonzalez on the other side. He's got Wursel and Allman. Albert Lee saw that pass coming, steps in front of it. Nice steal by Wursel. Wursel trying to feed it through. Gonzalez on a break. Now Wursel giving pressure. That ball is cleared all the way down into Scarlet End. Albert Lee coming the other way. Makes a nice move there. Puts it outside. Nobody there. That shot's going to go to Lobitz, but he can't get his hands. Well, he got his hands on it, but he couldn't catch it. Albert Lee brings it back in, but quickly moved. Nice move by Gonzalez. Got a foot on that and then rolled, got up and got the ball back. Dumdai doing a good job of keeping it in. Albert Lee picks it up, takes it down the line. Dumdai giving chase, trying to get in front of him. And I think that was Anderson. I can't see what number that is. Oh, that's probably. Oh, he's through. And Albert Lee parents wanting a call on Cox in the penalty box. Referee let it go. It could have been called. Looks like Tosh with a throw in now. Oops, let me find him. There he is. Albert Lee with some good pressure to start this first half. See if the Scarlets can turn the tide a little bit here. No, that's Caperon over there. That's who that was. Engelhorn on this near side. Feeds it to Cox. Cox up to Dumdai. Dumdai trying to get turned. Feeds it over to Caperon, who feeds it up to Gonzalez. Javier feeds it down the line. Oh, just off and out of bounds. Trying to find Wursel cutting down the line. Big throw by Albert Lee. Gets it over Dumdai's head down the line. And AR is going to call handball. So it'll be a free kick. And feeds it through. And it's going to call offside. Either that, I think offside on that. They're going to play that wide for Engelhorn. Engelhorn over to Anderson. Anderson looking for a through ball, and Albert Lee denies. And Anderson to Wursel. Wursel trying to get it turned, gets it back to Anderson. Oh, Anderson turns it over in a dangerous spot. 14 trying to get a shot off. Goes off the side of his foot and out of bounds on the far side. Allman trying to find the ball through, and Gonzalez trying to find it. Albert Lee's going to try to turn that. It's going to go out of play, so it'll be a throw in for the Scarlets. I think that's Wursel with it. And throws up to Tosh. Tosh trying to get it turned, and does. Through traffic, gets it turned, and off an Albert Lee player is going to play it out. And, oh, good slide by, I want to say that was Dumdai. Albert Lee gets it turned. They've got space. Dumdai chasing over to give pressure, and that ball's going to go long and through the end line for a Scarlet goal kick. Over for, oh shoot, errant pass. Cox deflects. And that goes off the Scarlet. I think that's Cameroon. Dumdai in the corner trying to get it turned. Feeds up to Gonzalez. And Albert Lee trying to get it centered. That's going to go off the end line for a Scarlet goal kick. So next week on Tuesday, we'll have. Oh, goodness, I forgot to start my clock. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm out of practice. I got too many people helping me in the box. I'm out of practice. And Scarlets are able to get it back to the back line. Tosh got a piece of it, but Albert Lee picks it up and bring it the other way. Albert Lee getting turned and tangled up legs and no call. They're going to play on. Dumdai just kicks that out, so it'll be an Albert Lee throw. Albert Lee looks a little bit, they've got a little bit more zip than they did first half. And Scarlets look a little bit more flat, so we need to step up our game a little bit. Scarlets need a win tonight. They've had some tough games leading up to this game, so they've had one day off. Oh, DeMar's almost got that. Now Allman with it. Ursel feeds it over to Dumdai. Dumdai feeds it to Tosh. Tosh feeds it out to Gonzalez. Javier with it. Javier trying to get around it. That's going to be close. That's going to go out the end line. And they're going to call corner kick. So Scarlets with the set piece here. Looks like Dumdai is going to take it. Allman in the box. And they're going to referee wants the ball boy away from the side of the net. That's what he's calling for there. And clock back. And that, oh my gosh. Cannot find the net. DeMars with a nice save to keep it in. And now Tosh with a blaster goes off of an Albert Lee player and he goes down in the box. That was a full solid kick by Tosh, and the player took it right to the chest. Hopefully not his face, but he went down on the knee as soon as that ball hit him. So hopefully he's going to be okay. That was a hard shot. So we'll get a injury stoppage of time, stoppage of the clock, whatever you want to say. So yeah, just a quick reminder for next week. We'll be Tuesday. We'll be hosting Owatonna, and then on Thursday the boys will be heading to Winona. And I will not be broadcasting Winona. I'll see if I can get an announcement out for those of you who want to watch it. But what I would venture would be your best bet would be to go to the Big Nine calendar. And in the Big Nine calendar, there's usually a link to the live broadcast. If that doesn't work, you can do a Google search for Winona High School, go to their athletics page, and there's probably a link on their page where they broadcast. It's typically, I think it's Huddle Live is what they do for hockey. So my guess is that's what they do for soccer as well, but that's pure speculation on my part. Now, drop ball. Dumdai puts it in the box, trying to get it turned. And Gonzalez going after it in the corner. That's going to go out of play. And they're going to call Scarlet throw. So Dumdai will come in. Gonzalez will go into the box. Dumdai looking for a throw. See if he can get it in the 6. almost, and trying to get it turned. Albert Lee is going to be able to clear. And DeMars plays it back to Engelhorn. Engelhorn down the line feeds it to Anderson. Anderson, not a lot on it, but it still allowed Engelhorn to get it up to DeMars. DeMars now through traffic. DeMars is going to, tried to feed it to Gonzalez, and it was just off the mark. Goes to the Albert Lee player. And now Dumdai in the corner. He's got support. He's going to play it back. Gonzalez back to Dumdai, and Dumdai is going to be offside. That's the hard part about playing the ball like that, because if Dumdai plays that back for support, he's got to make sure that he's on side if that pass comes back to him, which is exactly what just happened there. Dumdai played it back to Gonzalez. Gonzalez gets pressure, plays it back to Dumdai, and he's offside. So Albert Lee gets the ball. Cox comes up to get it, and Wursel heads it out to Gonzalez. Albert Lee's there to disrupt. Nice little give and go to Dumdai, trying to find DeMars, and Albert Lee's there to intercept that pass. Now Cox with a touch to Dumdai. Tanner turns down the line. He's got Wursel on the side. He's going to try to feed it through, and nobody there. So Albert Lee goalie picks that up and gives it a boot to midfield. Dumdai trying to get under it, and he's going to get called on a shove, so that'll be a free kick for Albert Lee. Plays it short, Albert Lee, and then Javier got a piece of that, so that's going to go for an Albert Lee throw in the scarlet end. And trying to redirect the header, and that's going to go out of play for another Albert Lee throw. So they'll try that again. He's preparing for a long throw. Doesn't do much with it. Does find an Albert Lee player at the 18. Engelhorn was there to block the shot. And then Anderson feeds it for DeMars. DeMars going to put pressure. Anderson still screened by Albert Lee. Now number 4 is probably, from what I could tell, number 4 is probably one of their better players, at least on the defensive side of things. Now Ullman feeds it over to Tanner. Tanner's got Javier making a break, and he's on side. Javier's got to get it turned and can't get a foot on it. It actually goes off of Javier. It's going to go out, so it's going to be, Albert Lee kept it in. And Caproon plays it up, and Albert Lee plays it back. Now Anderson got a foot on it. Nice defensive move by Anderson. A nice pass by Anderson over to Ullman. Ullman to Wursel. Wursel over to Tosh. Tosh is going to put one for Javier. Oh, and Javier missed it. Oh, he had a great look and a great angle, and he was onside. Nope, they're going to call him off. Gansky called him offside. I didn't think he was, but why I'm not wearing the stripes, folks. Engelhorn. And Cox kicks that out of bounds. Tiger throw. Good play by Engelhorn to clear up for Tosh. And that was a little dangerous play. No call. And a little hot pass by Caperoon. Winds up going out of play. Albert Lee with a throw. And that'll go to Lobitz. Lobitz looking for a play. He's got Anderson, but Anderson's too far out for the throw. So Lobitz is going to have to kick it. It's going to go to midfield, headed by Albert Lee. And then Dumdai trying to find Tosh, and Albert Lee is going to clear. Almost got over Engelhorn. Now Anderson putting pressure. That ball's through, but that's going to be too far, and Lovitz is going to easily pick that one up. Lovitz gives it a boot to midfield. Looks like Wursel got a piece of it. Oh, Albert Lee, that's dangerous. And DeMars trying to get to it, and DeMars goes down. DeMars wants to call, and the referee's like, nope, that's not how that works. You don't get to do that. And so we got substitutions. Anderson going off. It looks like, I think that is Quayon coming on. And Abdi coming on for Javier. And a good throw. Gets Tosh turned. Tosh a little too far out in front of him, and it allows number 4 to kick it out of play. So Scarlett with a throw. Gets it into Tosh, but there's traffic. So Townsend trying to feed it over. Dumdai picks it up. He's going to play it back to Allman. Allman gets around 17. Steps around number 5. Still with it. Still with it. Feeds it over to Dumdai. Dumdai's got lots of space. Puts one on and goes way high. And past the scoreboard. Out of play for an Albert Lee goal kick. And Albert Lee plays short to the far side, down the line, finds a Tiger, and they're going to try to play it back past the back line, and Cox is there to head it free. And a good move by Albert Lee, and headed out of play. I'm not sure why he didn't let that go out. He's trying to get around, and does. And Townsend boots that out. So now they'll get their corner kick. So Albert Lee lines up on the 18. And they break. And ball comes in. Out to the 18. And they score. That is not what we needed, ladies and gentlemen. That was not what we needed. Went right out to the 18. Untracked. And he just wound up. Had time to place it where he wanted and finds the back of the net to take a 1-0 lead over the Scarlets with 24-18 left in the game. And that goes deep. Allman trying to break on it. Townsend gets in front of it. Townsend trying to get turned and trying to feed it to Allman. Not sure why he didn't just take the shot. Now Tosh is going to take a shot. And Abdi behind the play. Now Tosh is going to just blast one up through the uprights for an attempted field goal. And out of play. So Albert Lee with a goal kick. Albert Lee right in the spot where they want to be. I don't think Albert Lee has won a game in the Big Nine yet this season. See, Tosh has got to take that shot right away while the goalie is not quite where he needs to be. Now Allman with it. Abdi trying to get turned. Abdi with 2 guys on him, and the 3rd guy is able to clear. Now Cox playing high. Gets it to Albert Lee. Albert Lee's going to throw it. There's 2 men on. And Caperoon with a nice defensive move to slow things up and let the Scarlets regroup. And Cox just blasts one out of the area. And Lovitz with a grab. And nice header by Noah to get to Jacoby. Allman picks it up. He's going to feed it out for Dumdai. Tanner trying to put one to Abdi. Abdi's playing too far over to get to the ball. He's got two defensemen between him, so that pass is hard to get through. Caparoon now with pressure. Wursel with pressure. Wursel steals it. Too big of a touch, but Wursel keeps it. Another too big of a touch, and Albert Lee blasts that into the bleachers. Scarlets with substitutions. No, take that back. Yep. I can't see who's coming in. He's going to hold that. Looks like, I think that's Edson just came in. And Abdi throws it to Wursel. Wursel back to Abdi. And he's got Dumdai open on the near side. Dumdai calls for it, and he gets it to him. Tanner to Edson. Edson plays it over to Abdi. Abdi in traffic. Still in traffic. Goes off of one player, tries to get to it. Allman picks it up. Allman looking for an angle to shoot, I think, is what he was looking for. And they're going to call Allman arguing with the call. It'll be a free kick. And he plays that. I don't even know if he even set that down. Good defensive play. I can't see who that is. That's Sebastian Homer. He was turned. I could see his number. So Homer's on that back right line. And then it looks like Caparoon's going out. So Engelhorn back in on the left side on the back. Cox playing in the middle. Now Dumdai with a throw. Trying to get it to Allman. Albert Lee gets in front of it. Jacoby picks it up. Leaves it for Quayon. Quayon trying to find Noah. And Albert Lee steps in front of it. Homer is just going to kick that out of play. So Albert Lee with a throw in. And throw to the middle, headed. And now Cox looking for a clear. Gets it out. Albert Lee is going to be there to pick it up. And Albert Lee, a little bit more vigor. And then Lobitz picks it up. He's going to throw it, trying to find Abdi. Abdi with pressure. Taken down. So Abdi's going to get the call for a free kick. Cox with it. Brody gives it a boot. I'm going to go right to Albert Lee. Part of what happens with some of those is those 50-50s. Come on, Isaac, get on it. Oh, goalie makes a save. Allman couldn't get a clear shot on it. Albert Lee fired up. See, their energy levels are much higher than they were in the first half. Brody calls for it, gets a head on it. That's going to go out of play. So it'll be an Albert Lee throw-in on that far side. And off of Edson and out. So Albert Lee with a throw. We're down to just under 19 minutes left. Scarlets down by 1 goal on a set piece from Albert Lee. Corner kick. Bounced around in the box and deflected out. There's an Albert Lee Tiger sitting right at the 18, and he just wound up and blasted one and found the back of the net to take a 1-0 lead on the Scarlets. And Quayon trying to get under it and can't get his body turned to keep it in play. And Albert Lee will have a throw in. Lobitz picks that up, gives it a toss, trying to find Abdi. Abdi gets to it. And keeps it in. Still with it. Nope. Referee's going to say that was out, but out on Albert Lee, so it's going to be a scarlet throw. Wursel gets turned, feeds it up to Tosh. Tosh with traffic. Now, Dumdye. Tanner with a through ball. Allman's offside. They didn't call it, and the goalie is going to grab that and fall on his belly. Allman, and unless he was on when the ball was kicked, I turned after the ball was in the air. When I turned, Allman was offside, but Gansky didn't put his arm up, so maybe he was on. Edson got a piece of it. Albert Lee is able to turn, and then Cox is going to play that out of play. And then it looks like we've got Hagen coming in for Quayon. Edson trying to get foot on the ball. Albert Lee playing it into the 18 and then cleared for Tosh. And Tosh, big touch, tried to get to it. Albert Lee is there to play it out. Hagen is going to hustle to it. They're going to be, that's a 50-50. I'm not sure what, that could go either way. They're going to give it to the Scarlets. Ballpark, a yellow card as the Albert Lee player is walking with the ball after he didn't get the call he wanted. So, Dumdye pauses for substitutions. 15:40 left. So Edson out, coming back in. I think that is yeah, Westberg is in and Gonzalez is back in. Goalie's going to pick that up. It's almost as if we just don't have a sense of urgency. I'm not sure. We need to get a little bit more energy out there. Albert Lee plays that through, and Cox is there to boot it up in the air. Ball's going to stay in. Battling for it was Dumdye, and that's going to go out on the Scarlets. A throw. It's all, yeah, it seems like everyone's just kind of walking. And I know they've had a lot of games where they've played. They've only had one day off in the last week, over a week. I think like 10 days. I suppose you count Sunday as a day off, but they've had quite a few games in the last 10-day period. So I know that they're probably feeling tired, but they need to find that next gear and get themselves back into this with a goal here with 14 minutes left. And you can see Albert Lee is in a little bit of a stall technique here. They're taking their time on their throws and on their goals, on their goal kicks and their goalie throws. Oh my goodness. They're going to call contact on Albert Lee right at the 18. Two Scarlets went down. Albert Lee not a big fan of that call. Lobitz gets it to Albert Lee. And through ball, and Engelhorn denies. Albert Lee hustles over and gets to it. Keeps it in play. That's going to go off the end line for a goal kick for the Scarlets. Let me get you turned here so you can see. And just a chipper right to Albert Lee player, and he shoots and he scores right over the head of Adam Lobitz. To make it a 2-0 lead with 13 minutes left. It was an eighth grader that scored that. Nadal's with it. The dumb die. Dumb die. Pass off the mark. Comes back to dumb die. Westberg trying to get turned. Gets it to dumb die. Too much of a touch, but recovers until it goes out of bounds. No, actually kept in. And shot goes right to the goalie. Fingertip grab by the goalie to get a hold of that one. Oh, nice header by Brody. And Albert Lee. Back to Homer. Over to Engelhorn. Engelhorn down the line. Albert Lee intercepts. To Hagen. Hagen back to Tosh. Ullman onside. And Javier missed that one again, just out of the reach. Javier got a foot on it, but not enough to actually get anything on net. Westberg getting a talking to by the ref. 11 minutes left. Oh gosh, I forgot to start the stupid clock again. He's going to get a yellow card. So, Dumb Die is going to head over. Yellow card for Tanner Dumb Die on contact. Tigers with a free kick with 10:22 left. And no pressure. No pressure. What are we doing, folks? Allman with it. He's got one to beat. Oh, and too much on it. And nobody on the backside. Westbrook gets to it in the corner. Javier gets turned, trying to find it, and it's taken from him, and Albert Lee is able to clear. Fourteen gets through. Engelhorn gets it away from him. Lee picks it up. Engelhorn, more pressure. And that ball is going to go out of bounds for an Albert Lee throw in. Substitution coming in. Hagen going off. That means Anderson's coming on. Too much. Oh, he's going to make him. It's a dangerous play. I don't like it when the goalies do that because they're just looking for one. I think he's trying to delay, but 2 second delay. He's better off picking it up and then holding it for 10 seconds instead of that because he's just giving an opportunity for contact. And Lobitz picks that up. Going to give it a kick. It's going to go to center field. Allman gets the header and then makes contact. And again, the goalie with that move. Sorry, I got to turn the camera. Nope. Lobitz over to Engelhorn. Engelhorn down the line and out of play. Substitutions for the Scarlets with 6:34 left. We're going to stop the clock. Gansky wanting to have a conversation with the referee. So coming back on. Caparoon back in. Header goes out. And Lobitz comes out for it. He's going to roll it to Anderson. Anderson with it. He's going to play it over for Dumdai. Tanner plays it over to Mateo. Mateo up to Javier. Javier plays it over to Tanner. Tanner feeling the pressure. Over to Anderson. To Tosh. Tosh. Pressure. Number 4 steals it from him. And clears it back to Engelhorn. Engelhorn, I would anticipate that Albert Lee is now just trying to flood the defensive end and protect. And Allman clears nobody there. Dumdai gets a piece of it, and now Wursel blasts another Albert Lee player. Tosh got one. Dumdai got one. Although this one, he's still up. He's still playing. DeMars got to stay on. And player goes down. So he was up for a while, and then he wound up taking a knee. Again, tough hit to the chest from point blank range. Those are hard to recover from. Take the wind right out of you. Down to 5:13, ladies and gentlemen. Scarlets down by 2. Gonzalez trying to get turned, trying to get it deep and pass to Allman. Allman with pressure gets turned. It's going to take a shot and just over the bar. Too high and goal kick for the Tigers. Gohorn gets it to Dumdye. Dumdye feeds it over to Wursel. Wursel to Anderson. Anderson feeds it through to Tosh. Tosh leaves it for DeMars. Out of his reach. Caperoon to Tosh. Tosh to Dumdye. Dumdye takes a blasting shot that goes over the upright and goal kick for the Tigers. Under 4 minutes now. Albert Lee to midfield. Cox with the header. Albert Lee with possession. Anderson deflected the pass, but Albert Lee puts it back in now. Engelhorn battling for it. Engelhorn pushes him off the ball. Albert Lee recovers. And now Wurzel's taken down, no call. And Allman gets to it before it goes out of play. Allman deflected off of an Albert Lee player. Tosh turned. Just out of the reach of Allman. Goalie comes out and picks it up. High kick. Goes to Albert Lee. Tosh putting pressure. Albert Lee maintains possession. Good touch by Anderson. Anderson with a shove, no call. Wursel gets it out to Javier. Dumdye picks it up. Dumdye to Javier, and it goes out of play. Tiger throw with 2:17 to go. We're going to stop for a Albert Lee substitution with 2:13 left. Anything under 5 minutes, the team with the lead, if they substitute under 5 minutes left, it is a stoppage of the clock for that substitution. Javier trying to get to it. He gets to it, keeps it in. He's in the corner looking for something, gets around him, and then they poke it out. So it's going to be a corner kick with 1:53 left. Allman racing over to get into the corner to set it up to get this thing in the box. Let's see if we can find the back of the net here. And it's in the 6th. Tosh got a head on it, and that goes in the net. Allman to Tosh. Find the back of the net. That was a nice set piece. It went right to Tosh, and like none of the Albert Lee players even moved on that ball. Albert Lee with the ball. Albert Lee still with the ball. No pressure. No pressure. And they scored. Just like that. Less than 10 seconds after we score, they score and catch the defense standing watching. So that should do it. Should put this game in the books. 2-goal lead with 1:21 left. That's unfortunate. Little momentum
goal to get things moving, and all for naught. DeMars puts it to the goalie, and the goalie is going to wait. Allman hugging defenseman, and that ball will go stay in, and that'll go out of bounds. So, Scarlets hoping for a win tonight. They're going to come up short, and Owatonna is a formidable team for that game on Tuesday. And a better opportunity for a win tonight than they will. They're going to have to play really well on Tuesday against Owatonna. Allman trying to get a foot on it and couldn't find it, and Albert Lee is just going to kick that out with 13 seconds left. And that is in the books. Goes down as a loss for the Scarlets, a win for Albert Lee. Pretty sure that's their first Big Nine Conference win of the season. So we'll wrap this up. Hopefully the Scarlets can get a well-deserved rest until Tuesday when we'll host Owatonna, 7 p.m. at Caswell North. So we'll I'll give you a broad view here as the teams line up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll call that good for this evening, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Until then, stay fit, keep sharp, make good decisions.